We're making pie crust dough today, and I'm going to show you everything from making the dough to rolling it out, shaping it, and baking it for perfect results each time. In this video, I'll be explaining how to make pie dough in great detail with some hacks for perfect results. First, let's talk about butter. Now, there are 3 different ways you can cut up your butter to prepare it for pie making. One is to grate it and then freeze the butter, and the other 2 methods is to cut them. You can cut them into cubes or batons, or you can slice them really thin. I will be making a flaky pie crust, so the butter pieces will be on the larger side, and I'm cutting it into half tablespoon cubes and then keeping them in the fridge so they're nice and cold until I need it. Also, make sure that you have ice cubes or really chilled water ready to go as well. If you live in a really hot environment, you can even chill your flour to keep the dough nice and cold. I will be making my pie dough in a bowl with my hands rather than using a food processor. This is even more important if you are a beginner to pie crust, because making it by hand will let you control how much water you will be adding at the end. If you really need to, you can use a food processor to cut the butter into the flour, especially if you don't mind your butter pieces being quite small. But I would still add the water and mix it in by hand. So I'm using all-purpose flour to make my pie crust. So let's put the flour in our bowl along with salt, and you can also add sugar. It is optional, but if you want your pie crust to be a bit on the sweet side, add a little bit of sugar. Now mix it all together until they're well combined. Now add the chilled butter into the flour and then toss them to make sure that they're coated well with the flour. So this next step is also called cutting the butter into the flour. This has been done with a knife or a fork where you press the butter into the flour. You can also use a pastry cutter like this to cut the butter pieces into the flour as well. I like to take the pieces of butter and then flatten them like this. And then if they're very large, then I'll break them into slightly smaller pieces. Then toss those flattened butter pieces in the flour as you go to make sure that they're still cold and won't stick together. So there's a lot of flattening that I have to get through here, so let's just fast forward. So once the butter has been cut into the dough, you should end up with butter lumps that are mostly flat but about 1/2 to 1 inch wide. Let me shake off some of that flour and you can see those butter lumps quite clearly. Now, if you want to have a more crumbly, mealy crust, then you have to cut the butter pieces into much smaller pieces where the flour and butter mixture ends up looking or resembling clumpy wet sand. Remember that at any point, if the butter starts to soften or melt, you must place the bowl in the freezer for a few minutes to let the butter harden. Now let's form the dough. I've got my water chilled with ice cubes right here, and I also like to add a little vodka with the water too. This is optional, but it's a great trick to get a really nice tender crust. Add the chilled water to the flour a little at a time while mixing the flour and butter mixture with your other hand or a fork. Now, I don't like to add all the water at once because then the water won't distribute throughout the dough evenly. And it's really important that we add just the right amount of water to our pie crust dough. Just the right amount of moisture is actually adding slightly less water than you think the pie crust dough needs. As you add more ice water, the dough will start to form larger and larger clumps. I always like to check the mixture so I can see how much dry flour is left in the dough. Then I can drizzle the remaining water over the dry areas so that the dough is hydrated more evenly. Now this is how I like to check to see if there's enough water in the pie dough. Take some of the dough clumps and squeeze it together in the palm of your hand. Does the dough hold together with just a few small pieces that fall off? There should be some visible dry flour streaks as well, and the dough should crumble if you try to break it apart. Then you've added the right amount of water. If the dough comes together very easily and you only need to squeeze it a little bit for it to hold together, and when you try to break the dough, it doesn't separate easily and you can see the dough stretching and there's absolutely no dry patches on the dough, then you've added too much water. If the dough doesn't hold together at all and falls apart very easily, then there's not enough hydration in the dough. Now I like to use a parchment paper to bring the dough together. You don't have to use a parchment paper, and I don't always use it either, but I do prefer using one because my hands run hot, so it can cause the butter to soften too quickly. So using a parchment paper avoids the dough from getting too warm and overhandling the dough. Now I'm moving the dough clumps onto the parchment paper. That way, if there's any really dry flour left in the bowl afterwards, I can drizzle just a few drops of water to bring it together. Then use the parchment paper to fold over and squeeze the dough together. There will be some dry spots on the dough, and that's a good thing, so don't worry about it. Flatten the dough and fold it over itself once or twice to make sure that the dough is mostly holding together. This is me bringing the dough together on my workbench without using a parchment paper, just to show you that you can do that too. Once the dough has formed, I like to flatten it slightly, dust the surface, and then cut it into 4 pieces like you see here, and then stack them on top of each other. This creates a fake lamination layering effect that adds to the final flakiness of the pie crust, and it also helps to bring the dough together too. Once the portions are stacked, make sure to gently flatten the dough so that the dough layers stick together again. Now this recipe is for 2 pie crusts, so the next step is to weigh the dough and divide it into 2 portions. Once you've divided it into 2, gently shape each portion of dough to wrap and let it rest. Here, I'm shaping the dough into a disc because these will be rolled out into a circle later on. If I were to make a slab pie, then the dough will be shaped into a rectangle or a square rather than a disc. Wrap the dough and let it rest in the fridge for a minimum of 4 hours. I prefer to let it rest overnight, and here's why. We talked about why some dry patches of flour is okay in your pie crust dough, and that's because the moisture in the pie dough is still going to be unevenly distributed. The flour clumps that were formed will have a higher amount of water, but when the dough is resting, the water is pulled away from the highly hydrated areas by the drier areas of the dough, making it more evenly hydrated throughout. That's also why I like to heavily flour the dough before wrapping it. So if there is excess water in the dough, the flour will absorb it while it's resting. Another reason is because the pie crust has been worked a bit to bring it together. If we didn't overmix the dough, we would have created just enough gluten in the dough to create structure. This gluten that we developed also needs time to relax. So when we're rolling out the dough, it can be stretched out more easily rather than the dough fighting with us. Now we've made incredibly delicious, buttery and flaky pie crust dough to make our favorite pies. In part 2, I will cover how to roll out the dough and every secret to blind baking pie crusts so your pie crusts don't collapse and shrink and come out absolutely perfect like this.